Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmad Nawaz. Tonight, we're going to be discussing cricket, and in cricket, it's Pakistan's tour to Bangladesh, where Pakistan have defeated Bangladesh by 3-0 in the T20 International Series and have clean swept this series. It was a thriller, a last ball thriller in the third T20. Pakistan almost made a mess of it, but thank God that Mohammad Nawaz was able to hit Mahmoodullah over extra cover for a 4, and Pakistan chased the target down on the very last delivery. So obviously a lot of positives, but a lot of things we want to work on as well. So we'll be discussing all about that in tonight's show. In studios, I've been joined first of all by cricket expert Ali Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Arslan, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. Good to have you on the show. We'll be coming to you in just a bit and discussing this as well. And we also have been joined by cricket commentator, senior cricket expert, and somebody I'm sure who will definitely with me highlight all the things Pakistan need to work on, Leena Aziz. Assalamu alaikum, Leena. How are you?
Ahmad and Ali, and hope you guys are well.
Very well, Leena. First of all, I would like to congratulate you as well, and obviously the entire nation deserves applaud that we won a series. I know it wasn't easy to defeat Bangladesh in Bangladesh, but let's be very honest. Should we have taken this game to the very last delivery, or should we, had looked to finish this off with an over to spare?
With someone who'd say that this game should have maybe finished an over or two before. I mean, we all know the pitches are a bit sluggish, slow, the ball is not coming on the bat, so this is not an 160, 170, 180 pitch. These are pitches where you get 120, 125, and then still you could have problems. Let's just face it. But Pakistan needs to look at certain things. I mean, our opening partnership's doing really well, but it needs to sort of up the ante a little bit because we can't always have 6 overs for 35 runs and then look to accelerate later. So we've got to look at these things, whatever the pitch circumstances. Of course, conditions have a big effect on the outcome of the game, or how the players sort of approach the batsmen, how they approach the game. But then we should have finished this a few overs before. Why? Because in the tank we have many batsmen. I mean, when Pakistan, Hassan Ali's playing today, he wasn't. I mean, when he's playing, we can bat up to number 9. Today we had till Nawaz we could bat. We can, Wasim could bat. Even Dhani can hit a bit. But so that's why we need to up the ante a little bit, and we need to look at this aspect seriously. That when we are playing even better sides, not just Bangladesh, but we need to look at the fact that how many runs do we need in the power play, and then how do we need to approach the middle overs. Everything, I'm not saying everything's going bad right now, everything's going really well, but we need to address these little small issues and see how we could have, for instance, finished today's game not just 1 over to spare, but maybe 2 overs to spare.
Definitely, with 2 overs to spare as well. But on the positive side, we can see that Pakistan has now got the most wins in T20 international cricket out of all test nations. That is, out of 26 games, Pakistan has won 17 T20 internationals. So they're on top of that list, so it's good for Team Green. But individually, Ali Abbas, coming to the last match of the series, Pakistan made 4 changes just to try some different combinations. But let's be honest, for the spirit of the game, for T20 cricket, Bangladesh has really got to think what kind of pitches they're making now.
I know, and just adding to this point, I think I wouldn't be too harsh on the Pakistani team because this is the Bangladeshi trap, isn't it? I mean, we've seen the Aussies lose over there, we've seen the Kiwis lose over there. I, for one, feel that maybe Pakistan has really cracked the code in which you just keep wickets in the middle overs when the Bangladeshi are just throwing the spinners one after the other. And in the end, you just accelerate because that is how they like to play. They want to get 120 on the board and they just want to choke the other team. So I think Pakistan had a plan, they stuck to it. In hindsight, yes, I do feel that we could have maybe played a lot more youngsters initially as well, give them 3 T20s, just to get a feel of what international cricket really is. I do feel that maybe Babar Azam, Rizwan, Shoaib Malik and maybe 1 or 2 more could have missed out on this tour. I do feel that maybe we should have taken Azam Khan instead of Sarfaraz Ahmed because this is a series where you want to work on your future prospects. And I think we missed a trick over there. But then again, we won a T20 series, everything is going to sound fine. But I think these are the series where you have to make sure that you use the right people at the right time. I mean, Australia gave the captaincy to Matthew Wade against Bangladesh. And Australia did lose the series, but you saw that how Matthew Wade had that sort of experience and the leadership in the World Cup where he took the game away from Pakistan as well. So we missed a trick over there. As for Bangladesh, I mean, I really don't know what they're up to. I think the kind of pitches that they are making at the moment, they're just basically throwing dirt over all of the progress that they have made over the last 10 years. I mean, this was a Bangladeshi side that qualified for the quarterfinals of the 2015 World Cup by defeating England. And you do not see that spark in them anymore.
Definitely.
And I hope they do make some changes, but I do feel that they're just taking their cricket back with the way they're making the pitches and the way their team is maybe just playing on the field by being as pragmatic as they can and sticking to a plan which only works on those sluggish pitches.
Yeah, Leena, Aziz, you win the toss, you elect to bat in the first game, you lose. You do it in the second, you lose again. Third, you've got an opportunity to maybe try something different, you don't. You've got a new side, you bench all of your experienced players who were part of the World Cup. You say that you've rested them. The players say that they have been dropped. You give the captain no option, and the captain himself or during the toss is completely phased out. He doesn't know about the side, he doesn't know much, he's not animated. He realizes things are not going according to plan. What is going on with Bangladesh cricket?
Well, I'll pick up the point from what Ali was saying. A few years ago, they were going great guns. I mean, I was thinking that the Bangladeshi cricket board is doing wonders. I mean, the team is going up, but now everything is going south. So they've got to look at things, see where they're going wrong, what's happening. They've got to look at the pitches. They got to look at team combinations, what's happening inside the board. It doesn't seem like all is hunky-dory. The things are don't seem settled. So they got to look at things differently, settle down things, work towards a plan, a kind of plan they were working with, say, maybe 5 years ago. They've got some great players. I mean, Shakib, Mushfiq, they got Mustafizur Rahman, they've got so many, Mahmudullah. All these players are great players, and then Nitin Das and all these players are great players. So what is going wrong is probably at the board level, and whatever is going south is probably going at the board level and then transferred to the players who are confused and don't know what to do. And then also the pitches. I mean, there's such sluggish pitches. Who makes pitches with, conditions where 125 runs are going to be scored, and then you try to contain the other side and strangle them with your spinners? You just need to open up. I mean, this is the era where you make bouncy pitches. Even for Pakistan, I always keep saying that, pitches should be 160, 170. But having said that, I feel the Pakistani pitches are wonderful compared to the pitches in Bangladesh. So they really got to do some homework.
Well, apology forms are everywhere. So you can get a pitches apology
for our curators
as well. You never know. But I think I agree with Leena that for the spirit of the game, I mean, I understand it's T20 cricket. I understand every country's got their own conditions and everything, but for the sake of the game, 120, come on, you can do better. And not just for us, but for the sake of your own team as well. But Ali Abbas, talking about Pakistan in general, 4 changes, how excited were you to see those changes first?
I was really excited. I thought they could have come a little in the previous games as well, but then again, seeing Nawaz the kind of energy that he brings, he reminds me of Hassan Ali maybe 3 years ago when we had him in the Champions Trophy. So, that kind of positive energy, that vibe is contagious, and you do feel that the entire dressing room sort of just grooves to it. I also feel that Nawaz was a really crucial factor for us in the T20 World Cup. I mean, the PCB social media team were doing well in showing us what was happening in the dressing room, and you could see that Nawaz was all fun, and he was living every moment, even though he was sitting outside the ground and he was in the stands. So that is something which I really appreciate. It was really nice to see him. I wish he could have played a few more games. I mean, we still have a few games remaining in the tour. I do hope we try more youngsters. And this is the time, because the next T20 World Cup is not that far away. And you maybe want to try out what Haider Ali can do, what Iftikhar can do, because there is no surety of the fact if Shoaib Malik or Mohammad Hafiz would be playing. I know you would be saying that Shoaib Malik will play the next T20 World Cup, and I wouldn't mind that as well. But then again, you always need those backup options to make sure that there is a certain competition in the team for spots. So giving chances to players like Haider Ali, to Iftikhar, to Dahani, and Wasim Jr., playing a couple of games and bowling really well at good lines, at a good line and length with good pace. It was really exciting to see, and I just hope they carry on with the same philosophy of trying more youngsters in the tour and making the most of it, because we do know that the likes of Rizwan and Babar Azam are not going to face any problems now. They are now established superstars. We need a few more superstars as backup as well, and then we could be a really formidable side in T20s, in ODIs as well as Test cricket. So hoping we do make some more changes in the upcoming matches.
Definitely, we can expect some more changes, but Pakistan's got a busy schedule. We've got a Test match on the 26th. That continues till the 30th. Then there's a second test match from 4th till the 8th of December. And then on the 13th of December, you've got the West Indies team. So there's a lot of cricket coming up for Pakistan. But Leena, Aziz, considering that the World Cup is going to take place in Australia, and considering that over there, automatically our combination has to go with like 4 fast bowlers and 2 spinners or all-rounders in between as well. So considering that option and considering the amount of quality players you need who can play the bounce, play the shots on the up, how would you feel Pakistan is going to prepare for the World Cup, number one? And number two, I would also like you to comment on Nawaz Dahani and Mohammad Nawaz at the same time. Dahani, of course, debuting, but Nawaz's ability to bat gives him a slight more edge to be part of the team.
Absolutely. I mean, I have to agree both on Dhani. Dhani is such a fantastic character. The game needs character. I was commentating on the T20, National T20, and watched him very closely over there. He's a real character, real fun guy, wants to do well, has a lot of passion, has a lot of speed, has a lot of skill. So, in my opinion, I mean, he was in the World Cup reserves, but maybe he should have been a part of the World Cup team. But that's all gone and done and dusted with. Also, Nawaz, he's done so well with the bat. I mean, I was just talking to my son. I was telling him how he's made Pakistan win 3 or 4 games that I personally saw him doing well in. So he needs to be a part of the future plans, whether it's the World Cup or the future in the next 7, 8 months. You guys were talking about Shoaib Malik, and as when I was commentating in the national T20, my fellow commentators were all telling me, "See, Leena, you made them select Malik." That's how much I was talking about him, and that's how much I was insisting in my commentary to select him, to give him a chance, and the chance was given. But everything has to come to an end. All good things have to come to an end. These are not. These are two, like these two are from the Marvel series, the Eternals. But then Eternals have to retire also. And if they don't retire, people like players like Haider Ali and Khushdil and Iftikhar. Iftikhar was such a revelation to me in that national T20, because when you're commentating, you're watching the game really closely, you're watching all the skills very closely, because the whole world is watching you, so you have to watch. You have no other choice. So, I feel these guys, Iftikhar and Nawaz and, all these players, Haider Ali, would only get a chance if finally Shoaib Malik and Hafiz say goodbye to the game. It's the right time. Just say it, just do it. Go play your leagues, enjoy yourself with your family, and let these young characters get a chance. And finally, one more thought. These players, I mean, players like Hafiz and Malik are not going to do well in places like Australia, where the bounce is a lot, and this is not their terrain. Their terrain was the Abu Dhabi, Sri Lanka. These low and slow pitches where they can do well. So maybe players who bat deep in the crease and can then play the cut shot or the pull shot, these players should be allowed to be in the team and flourish. I mean, don't just ask them to be a part of the World Cup team on the 4th night. Give them the chance from now to develop, so they have 1 year to develop and get into that confidence zone to play the World Cup. So those are my thoughts.
Well, I know that's your professional assessment, and that's a true assessment for the future of Pakistan, Leena. But
Shoaib Malik is not up for contention.
But do you think Shoaib Malik and Hafiz would call it a day?
They should. I mean, the things you need to do for your country. This is what they should think about now. Whether 1 year will make them such a difference to them. I'm saying they should play the leagues. They should play the national T20, the foreign leagues. Go and play them, make money, enjoy their time with their family. But if they want the team to develop for the next World Cup, then I think it's time for them to call it a day. They should. I mean, players do that all over the world to give other young players a chance, because if they retire right next to the World Cup, or if they're dropped right next to the World Cup, then I mean, it wouldn't be fair to the youngsters. In particular, I felt, and we had a lot of discussions during the national T20, that how Iftikhar was absolutely fit to replace Malik. How well he was batting, his power. I mean, he was a mature player now. I know there were times when I criticized him also, but those are times when they're not playing well. You see them playing well, and as an analyst, as a commentator, you have to call a spade a spade. If they're not playing well, you say Malik's not playing well, this one's not playing, that one's not playing well, and but when they're playing well, we have to say they're playing well. So I feel that you can't waste Iftikhar anymore. He has to be in the team, and how can he be in the team if Malik gives him the opportunity? How does Heather gets an opportunity if Hafiz gives him an opportunity? So I think that's where Pakistan's got to be strong, be bold, take the chance, take the plunge. Maybe they won't do so well in the next World Cup, but then these youngsters would be prepared for the future. Because cricket doesn't end with the World Cup. It doesn't begin with the World Cup. It doesn't end with the World Cup. It stays on and on. It's an ongoing process.
I would just like to say that Shoaib
Yeah.
Malik was never getting out to Mahmudullah today.
I know that as well, but I like the fact that Leena wants them to do something for their country, but at the same time, Leena gives them a business idea or as well to go play leagues. So she's done the homework right. But on that note, I think I'll just go towards a short break, but I'll be right back because when I come back, I'm going to go to Ali Abbas and ask him some more critical things and also have Leena comment on some very technical parts of Pakistan cricket as well. Right after this very short break, stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra with me, Ahmad Nawaz. I'm in conversation with Ali Abbas and Leena Aziz, and we're discussing cricket, Pakistan's tour to Bangladesh particularly. Right, Ali Abbas, Haider Ali, for him, you think it was a good omen that he got some runs and got some time in the middle as well? Obviously, he's one find that we want to develop for the future.
I know. I was listening to an interview that Matthew Hayden gave to Australian TV during the World Cup, and he did mention to them that there's one name that you all should remember because you will be hearing a lot of him, and that is Haider Ali. So we all know about the potential that he has. He did have a dip in his form for the last year or so, but you do feel that in the PSL he has managed to find his rhythm again, and then the National T20 Cup was sort of a revelation where he fought his way back into the team. So it was nice for him to get some time out there. I would have really liked had he finished the game, but being a little critical, I think Sarfaraz Ahmad put him under a lot of pressure from the other end, where I expected maybe Sarfaraz to take the leadership role. It was nice to see him get runs. It was nice to see him get some more minutes. But I think it's on to Haider Ali now to maybe expand the range that he has of shots. I think he showed great temperament today in the middle, where he knew that maybe he just had to make a partnership and take the game to the end. But just work on his batting a lot more. And the potential is endless for Haider Ali. And he's a batsman who's well suited to play Tests, ODIs, and T20s, in my opinion, if he does get his temperament correct, like he showed today. So tremendous potential, and hope the management keeps on giving him these opportunities.
Well, there are opportunities and we want him to develop as a player. But Leena Aziz, I think the ball is still in the same court as you mentioned, that if somebody goes, places will come up for these youngsters. For Haider, the prime position has got to be number 3. If he's any lower than that, then probably doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you, number 3 or number 4. And in both cases, I mean, someone would have to vacate these places. Like Haider Ali, I see him directly, if Hafiz retires, then Haider Ali is set to take Hafiz's place, which could be number 4. So, right now in this scenario, I see him doing that. And then, and he, like Ali Abbas just said, I mean, he's someone who's got great potential, but he's someone also who needs a little bit of time, a little bit of guidance, maybe a batting coach like Hayden, someone that Pakistan appoints in the future. We were hearing about Gary Kirsten. Someone like him could help him more develop into a world class batsman. He has all the ingredients to develop into one, but he does need some time and opportunity. Similarly, I'd say for Dhani also, he's someone who's got a lot of pace. He's got a mean bouncer. He's got a really nice Yorker. He can bowl the slower ball. He's learning how to bowl back of the hand. So and Wasim Jr. So these players also need opportunities. These are the 3 youngsters and Nawaz who need a lot of opportunities. These are 4 players. So for 4 players to get regular playing time, international playing time in the Pakistan team, 4 players would have to be sidetracked somewhere. Two of them are ready to be sidetracked, as we discussed, and they've served Pakistan beautifully. I mean, kudos to them. Salute to both Malik and Hafiz who served Pakistan.
You're
I
trying
mean,
your
for a
best,
number
aren't
of
you?
years.
You're
They're
trying your
both
best.
bloomers, let me say this, but they serve Pakistan well. So, these players would have to then make space for the youngsters.
Well, Leena, you're trying your best, aren't you? You're trying your level best that the message gets through.
If Leena is
And it
commentating
does,
in the next national
Ahmad, it
T20 World
does.
Cup.
It does.
I, I like the fact, that she's highlighting this in such a positive way that maybe Malik and Hafiz just buy this.
I think if Leena is commentating in the next national T20 World Cup, I don't see Shoaib will make it the squad after that.
Definitely. Leena has used one T20 cup to get him into the team. Yes.
Commentating during the national T20, I was one of the main commentators who pushed for Malik because at the time I thought he was important for Pakistan's cause. Because I knew we needed experience in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, Sharjah. He's played a lot of his cricket there, and he was doing well in the national T20. He played some very solid innings. So at the time, Pakistan needed him. Now the World Cup has passed, and now it's time for Pakistan till the next World Cup. We have a few series coming up, so it's time for Pakistan to develop, these youngsters. Whereby my tone has changed.
Right. I think Leena pushed for Malik and he came into the team. She's still now pushing for Malik, but it's now on the other direction. So Ali Abbas did a very good gesture like this. So I believe you. That's why I like you. You've got the verbal, non-verbal communication going on spontaneously. Ali Abbas test matches are now the next thing for Pakistan. And like I said, after that, then they've got West Indies. So the calendar of cricket is pretty full. What can we expect from Bangladesh? We've got to realize that they might become pretty more tough when it comes to the test matches.
Honestly, I see no grit in Bangladesh. Like Leena mentioned at the start of the show, you do feel that the problems go deeper than just cricket, maybe in terms of how their board is reacting. I do feel that maybe they have become a board in which they make these kind of pitches so they can just appease the public and, just pitch the fact that we've defeated Australia, we've defeated New Zealand. Maybe they expected that they would win this.
Let me
T20
give you a
as well.
fun fact. You want a fun fact?
I'm always on for fun.
They had their presidential elections right before the World Cup, the president of their cricket board. So they immediately made these pitches, beat Australia, beat New Zealand. The president got elected and then they went to the World Cup. So there you go.
You have it. I think you have it. I didn't know that, but I was able to link it up because, there is no vision in Bangladesh.
How would you
cricket
make
at the
players
moment.
like this? How?
You won't make players. You won't get like the likes of Shakib, Mushfiqur. Mustafizur is one fine that he's still carrying on, but we all know how his performances have dipped. You won't find another Tamim Iqbal. You won't the Mushtafim Murtaza. People like that who actually have it in them to take on the big guns in world cricket. You won't see that attitude. Bangladesh came so close to beating India in the World Cup. They gave Pakistan a very tough time in the Asia Cup. That was a game.
Yeah.
We feared playing against Bangladesh 2 or 3 years back. We were like, it's not the same anymore. But I feel they've sort of lost that vision and it has become a lot more political for them. And the cricket team is getting impacted by it. The fact that they're not playing the keeper, Mushfiqur Rahim. They're not playing Mushfiqur Rahim in the series. And he's like, I don't need to be rested. I wanted to play. Now he's your star man. He's the one who has led your team so amazingly over the last few years. You don't have it in the team. So obviously when politics does get involved in a sport which is so loved in that nation, these are the results that we are going to get. There is no vision for Bangladesh cricket, and I expect them to be rolled over in the test matches. I know it might sound like I'm being a little cynical, but that's exactly what I see. In test cricket, with Shaheen Afridi swinging the new ball, and then you have the spinners coming in. I don't see Bangladesh doing anything, and I think it's going to be a pretty boring test series. And it's out there for Pakistan to win, and I hope a few youngsters get a chance as well and solidify their position in the test team, because this is the opportunity that you take.
Definitely, that might be up for grabs. Leena, Moin Aziz, your thoughts, your final thoughts now before Pakistan goes into the test series on the 26th.
Well, I feel the test series might be a little different if they're able to bring some of their star players like Ali Abbas just mentioned. If they have players like that, then, in Bangladesh, when the ball is turning and they've got some spinners, you know, anything can happen because test matches are different. I mean, it's over 5 days. It's their conditions. They know them well. But once again, I mean, a lot will depend on how their board is functioning, what decisions can they take in the next few days, which kind of team comes and plays against Pakistan. Otherwise, I mean, it could be a one-sided affair. But ideally, I would have wanted the full strength team like Shakib and Mushkil Rahim and Tamim, everyone playing. I mean, even if all of them were playing here, things would have been different. So, I mean, if you got problems at your board level and then you got problems with your major big players missing at the team level, then how do you expect them to perform well? I mean, this could have been a really good test series. I mean, I was thinking maybe a few years ago when Bangladesh were giving England very hard time, I thought maybe when Pakistan would go and play Bangladesh in Bangladesh, they would give Pakistan a hard time, and Pakistan would then learn from that. But for that, they've got to have their star players in the team.
Definitely. They've got to have their star players in the team. Abbas, Leena, Aziz, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. Always a pleasure having you two. But the T20 series is now concluded. When we talk about the test series, like I highlighted, the 26th is the first test match. It continues onwards till the 30th, and then on the 4th of December, Pakistan is the second test match that continues till the 8th. And then, of course, Pakistan then have series against the West Indies, then Australia, and PSL will start as well. So a lot more cricket coming to Pakistan as well. That's all we have time for this edition of Sports Extra. From me and the entire team and our guests as well, it's goodbye for now.